Hi friends, it's Miles here. It's a game in no halves. Bob, my father, is
Hello.
to my left-hand side. How's it going, Bob?
It's going well.
Yeah.
How's it going, Miles?
Good. Yeah,
I
I'm all
like
good.
the new haircut.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Suits you.
Thanks. Found a new barber in Wantage who did me a nice, so that's good.
Oh, is there a new barber in Wantage?
There's not. There's just about 15 million, and I've worked my way around all of them and not liked any of them until I finally found one that I have liked. So
okay.
That's good.
I told you about my terrible experience, didn't I?
Yeah.
At the barbers in Wantage.
Yeah, the Turkish barbers.
Yeah. He said, "What do you do?" I said, I work with the BBC. And he went, "BBC bias." It was his opener. Cut my face as well. He was really aggressive. He was so angry with me that I worked for the BBC.
It is outrageous, to be fair, isn't it?
It's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, anyway, how's life been for you over the past week? No haircuts that have gone
No
awry
haircuts
since
for
then,
me. No, although I had a beard trim. I did have a beard trim. Amjad at Ted Baker.
Very nice.
Is my man.
Yeah, the Ted Baker place is good.
Yeah. So what else? Had a spinal CT scan.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everything's all right.
Yeah, you can still walk.
And that I'm still standing.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's about it. No tour dates this last weekend.
No. Well, I have some sad news, Bob.
Oh, go on.
Very sad, actually. My undefeated streak is over.
Oh, yeah. No, this isn't great.
It's very sad. I shot England versus Iceland on Friday night, and we all know how that went. Pretty dreadful, basically, wasn't it? England losing 1-0 to Iceland at Wembley in the final warm-up game before the Euros. Not great.
No.
They've turned into a little bit of a bogey side for us, haven't they?
Yeah,
a few times.
But if you look at the other big sides in Europe, none of them played particularly well. It's flat.
You could see that the players were like half.
They don't want to get injured, do they?
They were just going through the motions, honestly.
No, that's right.
Which is fair enough. I mean, big tournament coming up. They've all had long seasons, but still a shame that it was such a bad performance.
I think the thing that I was worried about was the timidity of it.
Yeah,
sort of very flat and timid.
I think that was just, it was.
But I think it's to do with not wanting to get injured.
Yeah. I think probably Southgate said that to them as well, to be honest.
Yeah, don't get injured.
Before the game, it's just like, this is just a practice match, really. Don't go all out.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. So yes, my 27 whatever game it was unbeaten run is now ended, because I officially was shooting for England that night as well.
Nor did we win the lottery.
No, that's
the
true.
bubble has burst.
It has.
Miles.
It has. The bubble has burst, unfortunately. But no, otherwise, all good, I think.
Yeah.
Basically.
I've got 2 new cats.
Oh yes, you have.
This is my absolute really big news.
Yeah.
But the thing is, since they arrived here, I haven't seen them.
They're just so terrified of everything.
They've hidden away and they won't come out.
Yeah.
It's basically what's happened.
They took one look at you and they thought,
they
fuck that.
did. What are we doing here? They're rescue cats, and I know that they've been moved from place to place to place.
Yeah.
And Mars's brother Dylan and me picked them up on Saturday afternoon from this wonderful couple who live in Abingdon, quite close to us here. And the cats, they're a bonded pair. One is 8, the other is 6. They've been just given names by the
rescue centre.
Yeah, the rescue centre.
Yeah.
Ages ago, that have just stuck, but they don't know their names. So it's one of the things I've got to think about, what their names are going to be. But I think that they'd
what about Freddie and Haynes?
Freddie and Haynes, yes. Yes. Actually, Freddie's not a bad idea for one of them.
Freddie?
Because it's a male and a female.
You could have Freddie and Florian, maybe?
Yes, Florian.
Anyway.
So that's not a bad shout though, Miles.
Some North London law in there for you.
Yes.
Well, Freddie, is there a unisex name that you've had in the North London team?
Frederico.
Freddie
or Frederica.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean... But anyway, so they were so happy with the couple they were with, and they'd been with them for about 2 months. So they'd settled in and felt comfortable. They'd come out of themselves. They'd been on their knees and they'd been purring and happy. And suddenly, once again, they're being yanked away from something they know. They've arrived here and they've just gone, enough. And they've hidden away somewhere. And I've had a couple of brief sightings of them.
Yeah.
They were meowing on the landing last night. So I know they're here.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they are here.
Well,
We've had a
hopefully.
look, haven't we, Miles?
Well,
You
by
looked.
next episode, maybe they'll be sat on your lap whilst we're recording, Bob. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll keep the progress updated as we go.
Yes.
But yeah, so no, all things good. Otherwise, we're entering the North London world as we left last episode, starting off the 2010 to 2011 season, aren't we, Bob?
Yes, before that, though,
Okay.
I promised to give the result of this year's Champions League final.
So this is the 23-24 Champions League.
Yes,
final, I suppose,
because
right? Wow.
as you would have heard last time, we're playing Real Madrid
Yes.
in the final.
Big
And
scenes here.
I'm sure there are people joining us all the time,
Yeah,
Miles, aren't there?
yeah.
Shall we just give a very, very brief précis of what it is, North London is?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, so essentially, Bob is the owner of a football team that doesn't actually exist, but in his head it has for about 35 years. It's called North London. Bob plays the games physically around the house with a phone football, which we have on the desk in our little podcast studio.
Skill level 1, skill level 2.
So the smaller the ball, the higher the skill.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Because the more difficult it is to... These...
I half would have thought that it would be
Quite
easier
easy.
to score with a smaller ball, though, no?
you
bigger
can bring
goal.
this one under control. It bounces off everything so much more
Right.
quickly and comes back at different angles.
Yeah.
So that's not bad skill level. This is great skill level. And then when I felt that I was playing in great form,
You
I'd
tested
go
yourself.
to the smaller one. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Bob's invented a team made up of real players and not real players. Like I was in the team, some of our friends were, and Bob's kept stats in extreme detail over the course of the last sort of 25 or 30 years. And
Yes.
so every week on the podcast, you've essentially played a football manager game, but sort of in your own head, and you've typed out everything yourself. So
I'd make a sheet of paper on this is the most recent look. And
no,
it
we're actually
literally-
having a real behind the scenes look at everything.
Look at
here, guys.
this. Okay.
So, this is what happens. So as you're playing a game,
Yes.
what you do is you've got a piece of paper, on a table somewhere.
Yes.
And every time something notable happens, you just go and you note down with a pen literally
Absolutely.
what's been going on.
And I can tell you the lineup as well. Now, normally I would write the lineup in at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and it's important this time because we got a scorer that doesn't normally score. In fact, I think he's only got about 2 goals or 3 goals in his entire career so far.
Interesting.
But got the winner.
Oh.
Against Real Madrid. I know that's a spoiler, but the way that the game went was absolutely incredible because North London took the lead via Musiala in the 22nd minute.
Okay, explain the goal. Can you remember the goal? How was the move?
Musiala, by the way,
Yeah.
is one of the discoveries of the season for us. He's played so
Yeah.
well. He got the ball on the left, feinted to go on the outside, cut onto
I'm just
his
imagining
right,
you doing all this with the
and
phone football at your
curled
feet.
it round into the top right-hand corner.
Beautiful.
Lovely goal.
He actually scored a very important goal in not the season that's just gone, but the last season for Bayern Munich where they won the league very, very late, where he cut in from the left and curled one into the corner as well.
He's a wonderful player.
Yeah, he's good.
So
he hasn't quite as good a season as he did last year in real life this year, has he? But I
Has
suppose for North London, it doesn't matter,
He's
does it?
been fantastic. So then we'd outplayed Real Madrid for the first 30 minutes. We got the goal.
Yeah.
We were absolutely on top. But Carlo Ancelotti, this is Real Madrid.
He raised his eyebrow.
He raised his eyebrow
on the touchline.
and the whole level
Yeah.
of their play went up a notch.
Yeah.
Equivalent to the lifting of his eyebrow. And suddenly, from being absolutely on top of the match, they sort of ground back into us.
Right.
And by the time it came to half time, they'd taken control of the game and they got an equaliser 1 minute before half time.
Oh.
So we go into the break.
And so
it's
obviously this
1-1.
final's being played at Wembley, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
because in
absolutely.
real life, that's where it took place.
So we come back out and Real Madrid continue their stranglehold on the game and they get a goal to take them into the lead on the 51st minute. Yes.
Okay, then.
So you could see everybody on the touchline, North London come on, because the team never knows when it's beaten.
Of course not.
And sure enough, we're attacking. Foul on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah.
Who steps up? Dan Olsen.
Dan Olsen, Academy product of North London. He's actually in real life a singer from the Faroe Islands.
Yeah.
So there we are.
And has played in the Champions League For real.
Yeah, that's right. We say that every time that we Champions League qualifying in the Faroe Islands.
Yes.
Big deal. So he scored the equaliser.
So he scored the equaliser
Yeah.
from maybe about 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area, just to the left of the D.
Okay.
Another curler.
Nice.
So then we're 2-2. But
wow.
Real Madrid take the lead in the 72nd minute.
Oh.
After which I make a couple of key substitutions.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have to say it's disappointing, but of course against his future club, Mbappe, just very flat on the night.
Okay, for those of you listening that might be confused at that, Mbappe's been a North London player in the North London
he
universe,
has.
but of course in real life he's going to Real Madrid, so you're having to ship him off there as
So-
well.
so-
off he goes. So this is his final appearance then?
So it's his final appearance, and
against his future club, and he's not put in a shift.
he's not put in the shift.
That's a shame.
So I substitute him because I did have the option. Okay, because he was playing number 9 effectively. He was playing through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have the option of taking for Romani off,
Okay.
moving Mbappe to the right wing and bringing in Osimhen.
Yeah.
And eventually that's what I did. I brought in Osimhen for Mbappe rather than for Romani.
Okay.
So it worked.
Interesting.
Yeah. The reason being that Romani presses and fights and runs. And that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
And we pressed them into a mistake.
Yeah.
And Musiala pounced on it. And from about the number 9 position, about 7 or 8 yards out, scored with his right foot,
finished it.
3-3.
Wow.
Right. Then it's all us. It's all our pressure.
The momentum shifted here.
The momentum has shifted. But we can't get the breakthrough goal, and it really, really does look like it's going to go into extra time.
Yeah.
We get a final corner. Okay. Now, this is a move.
This is Champions League 98-99 Ollie Solskjaer moment coming here, is it?
It is. Because there's a particular move that we've only played out twice this season, but which is really effective
Like
from
a set piece
corner
routine?
on the left.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So, and it was Musiala who took the corner.
Yeah.
Matt Astor
Yeah.
starts by the touchline. So to all intents and
So
purposes,
as in he's out on the left-hand side as well?
he's out on the right-hand side.
Oh, okay, sorry,
So,
yeah.
so the ball is coming
Right.
from the left.
A deep
And
deep
he's
corner.
out deep on the right-hand side.
Okay.
So to all intents and purposes, to the defenders, he kind of doesn't exist. He's so far away from... But as Musiala shapes to take the corner, he starts to run inwards at an angle towards the edge of the penalty area. And as the ball comes across, he meets it full on from the right-hand edge of the penalty area, goes hammering into the top left-hand corner. 4-3.
Matt Astor with the winning goal in the Champions League
Astor
final.
with the winning goal.
Can you believe it?
From a corner. And, last time we played that play, it worked brilliantly, and it did again.
Matty Astor. I play football with him in real life, so I have to remind him when I play 5-a-side with him this week.
Yes.
So what the final score then is
4-3.
It's a 4-3 win, and North London lift the Champions League
The double.
in 23-24.
Premier League and Champions League.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Because we beat Man City to the Premier League title by 1 point.
Amazing news. So there you go. You're brought up to date with the current North London whereabouts. Obviously, we've got the Euros and the Copa America coming up over the summer, and then you're going to be looking to strengthen in the transfer window.
If you notice, I didn't mention Jude Bellingham's name there because this is the one thing it's provided quite a dilemma.
Yeah.
Right the way through the season, it's a bit like if you remember back to trying to fit Lampard and Gerrard into the same midfield.
Yeah.
Fitting Dan Olsen and Jude Bellingham into the same midfield has been
It's impossible.
It's been a challenge.
So
they're so similar in many ways.
So is Jude possibly on his way out as well?
No. He's what I'm getting him to do is to adapt. He's alongside Cataldi in the holding midfield role.
Yeah, okay.
Notionally, but given the freedom to...
Sounds similar to what he might be doing for England in the Euros, I think.
I think so.
Interesting.
But he's still getting used to that role because his instinct is to want to attack and be the number 10.
So he's got to pick his moments now.
Dan Olsen is the number 10.
I see.
So it's been an interesting
well, it's
dynamic
worked though, hasn't it?
It has eventually.
Champions League,
the double,
Crown, and the Premier League.
And so now we just have to think what players we're going to bring in.
Yeah.
if any,
in the transfer window.
In the
well, that's
transfer
actually
window.
something, if you guys listening and watching want to get involved, we'd love to hear some suggestions of transfers for North London to make. If you're not following us on socials, by the way, at A Game of No Halves across all social media. We also put video versions of the show on YouTube as well. And let us know in the comments about suggestions of players you think North London should sign for this upcoming
particularly with
window.
the Euros coming up.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, isn't
There'll
it?
be one or two players that come out of the Euros that nobody was expecting, and they'll be really hot property, I imagine.
For a while.
Yeah.
Well, there are one or two, like James Rodriguez,
Yeah.
who I signed for North London
Yeah.
after that brilliant goal of his for Mexico.
he
but
was
it
brilliant.
never really quite...
And he was good for Real Madrid when he first went there. And it's just weird how it all...
You know my
Perhaps him.
style of management with him?
No, what?
Arm around the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously. He
Yeah.
was a confidence player.
Yeah.
So my feeling was
Bit
that
like
you
Marcus
just
Rashford, I think.
make him feel good and you're going to get the
Yeah,
best out of him.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it never really happened with him, did it? It's
guess
a
not.
shame.
Anyway, so back into the history of North London as we've been going through each episode. And as it
Yes.
stands, we're about to enter the 2010 to 2011 season, Bob. But
Right.
before we do that, and before we find out the transfer goings on
Yes.
of the summer,
Yes.
I want to put to you a football pointless for today's
okay.
opening quiz, all right?
Right.
So we work together on these, and if you're listening at home, you can play along. Basically, if you've seen the TV show Pointless, what happens is...
Which
there's-
I've been on a couple of
Yes,
times,
you have.
by the way.
There's a question that's asked, and that question is also asked to 100 members of the general public.
Yeah.
And what you have to try and do is find the correct answer with the least guesses by the public.
Yes.
If you get one that nobody guessed that is correct, it's pointless, and you get 0 points, which is the best score. If you guess wrong and it's just totally wrong, you get 100 points. And then obviously, if you guess a correct score that lots of other people have guessed, you still get quite a high amount of points. So what we're trying to do here, Bob, is come up with obscure
Yes.
answers
Yes.
that are correct.
Yes.
To these questions.
The thing is also, when you're doing Pointless, the temptation is to try and kind of do some research or do some... You
can't
can't
really, no, it's so random.
research for Pointless. It's so random.
No.
Yeah.
So what I've done is on TikTok, there are a few accounts that post little football pointless trivia. Okay, Bob.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm going to start us off with one.
Okay.
The account's called Won the Ball, by the way, which is where we're getting these from. But we'll do a couple of football pointless questions before we delve into 2010 to 2011.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is,
Yes.
name any of Manchester United's top 5 goal scorers in the 2023 to 24 Premier League season.
Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Oh, no. So as in the season just gone.
Oh, as in the season just gone.
Yeah, the season that's just happened.
And it's the least number that we want to...
top 5 goal scorers in the Premier League for us this year. So
Right.
it's going to be Højlund. It's going to be Fernandes.
Yes.
Surely, right?
Yes.
You'd think Rashford?
Well, he only got 7, I think.
I know, but I'm trying to think. McTominay must have got a few.
Yes. I mean,
Garnacho?
Garnacho got... I think Garnacho got... Did he not get 12? Or 9?
No, it's slightly
Garnacho got
less than
9.
that, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was
So,
9.
so if we're thinking of... who would the top 5 be then? It would be Højlund, Fernandes.
Yes.
I suppose Garnacho.
Garnacho. But McTominay, I would probably say as well.
And I think Rashford would be in there, even though he's had not a very good season.
yeah,
I'm trying to
so
think who else would have scored a lot of goals for us this year. There aren't really other.
Kobe Mainu got 2 or 3, didn't
not
he?
many.
But no.
Yeah.
I think that's the 5.
Okay. Who of those would have the least guesses, you think? Maybe McTominay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Well, I would say so, but
But is he in the top 5 scorers of United for this past season? He came up with a few important goals, didn't he? I'm trying to think, because he got 2 in that game against Sheffield United, wasn't it? Both in stoppage time, that was really important for us.
do you know, I'm going to go Rashford.
You're going to say
That's
Rashford?
the least, yeah.
But as in, he'd be the least guessed.
Yeah. Oh, no, he'd got the least number of goals.
Yeah, but we're trying to think.
Yeah,
If
gosh.
it's the top 5.
Okay, well, in that case, then McTominay.
Should we say McTominay? I think McTominay is a good shout. All right, we're going to lock in McTominay. Let us know what your answer is as well. Ready, Bob?
Yeah.
I'm going to flick across.
Okay.
All right. The most answered was Bruno Fernandes.
Right.
66 people answered him.
Yep.
Then Rasmus Højlund
Okay.
with 52.
Yep.
Then Marcus Rashford with 40.
Right.
Then Alejandro Garnacho with 35.
Right.
And then Scott McTominay with 10.
Yes.
So we've smashed it. We've got the best possible answer.
Yes, we have.
So 10 points it was for that. But
Okay.
Yeah, so Scott McTominay, if you guys guessed that at home, very well done. We
Yeah,
did it. But
we
got,
did it.
How about that though, Bob? We got it fucking bang on.
Absolutely.
Didn't we? We guessed every single one of those.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with our knowledge there.
Me too.
And Scott McTominay was the exact right choice.
Yes.
So we've
Yes.
killed it there.
Okay.
Excellent stuff. All right, we'll do one more before we enter the season. So football pointless. So this is all. It looks like an end of season edition. So this is all going to be about the last season just gone.
Okay.
Name any of the goalkeepers with the top 5 most clean sheets in the 23-24 Premier League season.
Okay.
That's interesting because I think the Golden Glove went to David Raya, didn't it, with Arsenal?
Yes, it did.
So he'll be there.
Yeah.
You would think Edison for City would be there. I would say.
Yeah.
Jordan Pickford's going to be in there, isn't he? Because Everton kept quite a lot of clean sheets. I feel like he might be in the top 5. Alisson was injured a lot though, wasn't he? I wonder if would he have played that many? Well, maybe he would. And then thinking of other.
So we're talking about clean sheets.
Yeah, clean sheets. I'm trying to think of other decent defences this year. You got Leno for Fulham, who would have played a lot.
Wolves' defence was quite tight as well, wasn't
That's
it?
Jose Sarr, isn't it? Who plays a goal for them. Ooh.
Oh.
It's tough. I obviously, there are the obvious ones. I don't think it's worth going. So obviously Raya, Edison. I think Alisson probably would be in there. I remember he was injured for a fairly decent period of time, and I wonder whether that might have affected him being in the top 5.
Jordan Pickford. You're saying Jordan Pickford.
Pickford, I think, could be because I know that Everton were lauded for how good their defence was this year.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he might be a rogue shout, but might be in there.
Yes.
Do we play it safe or do we take a gamble?
I'd go for Alisson.
Alisson. All right. Alisson. Yeah. I just wonder do you think a lot more people would? But then maybe Pickford's not correct.
What is the team with the best defensive record?
It was Arsenal.
It was Arsenal.
So
yeah.
Leno. I'm sorry, not Leno. Raya is a safe bet.
Yeah.
I wonder whether less people would have said Raya than. No, I don't know.
Because Liverpool let in more goals than they normally do this season.
Yeah.
So I think people would probably think wasn't Alisson because he hasn't had such a good season.
Yeah.
So even if he let in more goals than usual, if less people
voted for
him, then we're gonna.
It's true. I wonder if because he's such a big name, people who don't know that much will just say Alisson out.
Well, I'm thinking about that with Jordan Pickford. A lot of people would just go with Jordan Pickford.
Okay. So do you want to? I'll go with you then. Do you want to lock in
Okay,
Alisson?
shall we try it?
Alisson?
Go on then.
All right, here we go. So, the most popular answers.
Yes.
David Raya was first.
Yes.
Then Edison.
Yes.
44.
Yes.
Then Pickford.
Yes.
With 32.
Yes.
Then Onana for United.
Yes.
With 19. And then Leno with 6.
So he's not
it's incorrect. So we got 100 points.
Oh, that's not great.
Oh, no. I thought Bert Leno would be a good shout. I mean, Pickford with 32.
Who's Leno?
Fulham. Yeah. But I think Alisson was injured for so long that he must have missed too many games to get in there. Oh, well.
Sorry, Mars.
That's okay.
Well, you see, now we should have come back to it later because it's wrecked our run.
It has. Well, it doesn't matter. Let us know if you beat us for that one anyway. And we'll come back to play some more football points later in the show.
We'll have one more try, shall we, later on?
Yeah, we will. We'll come back to that. Anyway, Father. So, going into 2010-2011.
Yes.
So, we're coming off the back of the last episode, which was tumultuous, and we're looking at the transfer window now. So there's a couple of big outs in transfers. First of all, Franck Ribéry is leaving the team.
Yes, he is.
For 37.8 million.
Yeah.
Yaya Toure is off as well, for 24.
Yes.
That might be because he joined City at this point, right?
Yes, it would have been.
And there's a rule that Bob has that if a player of his joins another Premier League team, he's not allowed to have him in the team, so he has to sell them.
Yeah.
So that must be what happened there. And then also Andrade, this is the second time he's been sold, isn't it? Because you bought him, then you sold him, then I think you bought him back, and now you sold him again. So he's off for 5.3 million. So it leaves.
Never worked with Andrade, did he? But he was one of your favourites.
Was he?
Well, he was, wasn't he? You liked Andrade.
I can't remember now. Maybe
you did
back then. Yeah. So you're left with 164.6 million pounds in the transfer window, Bob.
That's not bad for the time. That's really good, actually.
No, and the first person you're bringing in is Schweinsteiger.
Yes,
which is an interesting purchase, 31.6 million.
Yes.
Back in 2010, how old would he have been then? Because So when was he born? 84, 94. So you do the math here, Bob.
Yes.
So it'd be 26?
26, 27.
Yeah.
I love getting players
in the prime of his career.
Approaching their prime, yeah.
In fact,
and he was such a good player.
He was great.
And also,
he could do everything in midfield.
Yeah. And at this point, Miles, I think I got Matt Hummels
you
in
do have
my
Hummels
team.
as well, yeah.
So to put the two of them together, particularly if they're holding, in the midfield, that's a very, very good combination because Mats Hummels was predominantly left-footed.
No, he's right-footed, definitely.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, in my head. In North London, he was predominantly left-footed.
You retrained him.
I did, yeah. And Schweinsteiger said they made the perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So in real life, Schweinsteiger just come off of 3 seasons in a row with Bayern in the Bundesliga, where he played 30-plus games.
Yes.
Scored a handful of goals.
Yeah.
So you're signing him in the prime of his career.
It was a good signing.
Yeah. So 2010 to 11, he's probably the biggest signing of the transfer window. You've also brought in David Luiz, which again is very interesting. And this would have been, again, I think before really he had become a household name at that point. So
Did I bring in David Luiz? I don't remember signing David Luiz, actually.
I mean, it says here you brought in David Luiz.
Is there another Luiz, do you think?
It literally says David Luiz, so I imagine...
In that case.
I can't imagine there's anybody else.
No. In that case, then, there's irrefutable evidence.
No, I suppose. 16.4 million. He is 2 years younger than Bastian Schweinsteiger. So you're getting him in his sort of early 20s. I wonder where he is at this point. I wonder if he's still at Benfica. Yeah, he's still at Benfica at this point.
You
signed him the year before Chelsea did, actually.
Haaland, if you go through the record of North London...
It's good scouting.
And the times that they sign key players, it's always a year or two before the other big sides have known about them. Yeah,
this was kind
true.
of after his first real full-on first-team season, because the 2008-2009 he played 19 games in the league for Benfica, 09 to 10, which is the previous season. He's played 29 games for them. So you've signed him just really as he's broken into... the first team at Benfica.
And how did Benfica get on in Europe that season, does it say? I must have seen him somewhere. I mean, one of the ways that I used to scout is literally go online and look at the players, look at films of the players, playing for their clubs and just assessing them from that. I mean, I know, again, a show reel isn't necessarily the way, but you can learn a lot.
Well, you get show reels of players who sign for United all the time or were thinking of signing, and it makes them look like the best player in the world, doesn't it, when you look at their ultimate highlights. Fred was one of those for me. I was like, oh my God, we've signed an absolute superstar. I did like Fred, but
same.
Never really. Anyway.
Well, and Memphis Depay to a certain extent.
Yeah. It says here, so in 2009 to 10, Benfica won their 32nd Primeira Liga and their second League Cup. They saw the definitive breakthroughs of Angel Di Maria, David Luiz, and Fabio Contral.
Yeah.
While Oscar Cardozo, who was one of my favourite players, actually, I loved him, big Paraguayan left-footed striker with an absolute cannon, had his best season yet, scoring 26 league goals. So they clearly had a very, very good 09-10 season, didn't they?
Yes.
And they had some breakthroughs.
Yes.
But David Luiz is the player that you've chosen.
Very good.
It means you've got 117 million left in the transfer budget as well.
Okay.
So you've got a decent amount to go back into the January transfer window with, I guess, if you need it. Right. No details of a pre-season tournament here, Bob. But so there are...
Oh, that's because it was after the
World Cup Championship. Yeah, exactly.
So I should imagine also that the team will come back a bit more gradually.
You're totally right. Okay.
It's not going to start with the first team.
So the first game of the season is away against Wolves. It's a 1-0 win.
Yes.
Sam Toklov. But the team, Schweinsteiger goes straight into the team.
Yes.
Alongside Mats Hummels in defensive midfield.
Yes.
Pato, Ozil and Ian Giggs in behind Ben Granville up front.
Yes.
With a 1-0 win. You follow that up with a 2-0 home victory against Spurs, Toklov and Pato. It says good second half performance following
what
half-time
I used to
change.
do is actually on the summary of the matches, say as each player comes back from holiday and returns to the team.
Yeah. So a 2-0 win against Spurs. Yeah. But then it's an away defeat at Chelsea. It says post-World Club Championship hangover hits as flat performance results in comprehensive defeat following 11 straight wins.
Wow.
So it's a defeat to Chelsea away. I mean, the team is looking pretty good though.
What is the team then?
So I'm in goal, Bedwell, Hoffland, Haynes and Bennett across the back. Schweinsteiger and Weber in defensive mid with Gigax, Raquelme and Villa in midfield, and then Toklov up front, but Torres, Ozil and Pato all came on 70th minute onwards.
Right.
So that means after 3 games, you are 4th, but you can never really tell much from the table at this point in the season.
Okay.
But it looks like the World Club Championship hangover is over, Bob. You've taken a paracetamol and the headache's gone.
Yes.
Because you have a home victory against Aston Villa that ends 8-0.
8-0. Who scored?
Villa got 2, Riquelme got 2, Freddie Haynes, Sam Toklov and Ozil with 2 as well. It says 4 goals in 12 devastating first half minutes as Aston Villa blown away by awesome attacking tempo.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable stuff.
Yes, and
Wow.
I bet you Riquelme was orchestrating it all.
Sounds like it. And
I
actually,
loved having him in my
I think
team.
that this is the sort of first time he's started the last couple of games, but he's clearly, he's back to his full fitness now. Things are looking good. After that, it's a 3-0 win against West Ham.
Yeah.
Fantastic first half performance, but no goals. Become less composed beginning of second half until the first goal goes in. It says here that Douglas Booker makes his first start of the season, and Torres scores his first goal along with David Villa and an own goal, which make it 3-0. And then 0-0 draw with Newcastle leaves you in second place behind Chelsea by 2 points going into the start of October.
Okay.
So I think things are starting to look up.
I'm so glad. Every time we look back over these and there's a little summary, I'm so glad I did the summaries because there were times when
you can imagine what you were doing, can't you? Literally feeling.
And so I come back to the kitchen and write in the goal scorer, but then I might sort of make a really scribbled note at the bottom.
Yeah.
Comes from 10 minutes of sustained pressure or something like that.
Yeah.
So when I went over to the studio and translated all this onto my PC, I got the raw material to make that commentary.
There you go. It's working well, clearly. So the next game is what looks to be a very hard-fought 1-0 win at home against Blackburn. Dylan in the 89th minute with a header, apparently.
Wow.
With the winning
he didn't
goal.
score many with the header.
No, he didn't in real life either. Not very good in the areas of Sundays. Anyway, it says really poor performance. Scrambled winning goal from far post header following a corner from the right.
Yep.
Only 3 goals in the last 5 games, Bob.
Wow.
That is surprising.
Yes, it is.
For a North London team, 3 and 5 is a lack of form.
Particularly with the firepower we've got.
True. And then, away against Bolton Wanderers, it's a 3-2 defeat.
Wow, stuttering start then.
Yeah. Well, it says here, post-America/World Cup slump continues. So you're still feeling it after the World Cup Championship.
Yes.
Actually, it's really interesting at this very moment in time when we're recording this about the World Cup Championship. Because have you seen that Real Madrid have withdrawn from the Club World Cup today? Ancelotti's.
I did not see that.
They've withdrawn because basically what he said is that the prize money is so puny.
Yes.
It's not worth their time to go and play.
Honestly.
Hang on, I'm going to look this up because it's also, as of recording this, Carlo Ancelotti's birthday today.
Oh, is it?
He's 65, so he's officially a pensioner.
Do you think they'll give him a sort of eyebrow-shaped cake?
I'd love that. That'd be great, yeah.
It would be good, wouldn't it?
I'm just going to look this up because, it's interesting.
They could sort of inverse it, couldn't they? all the candles would be eyelashes.
Yeah. Full story. Real Madrid refused to take part in the Club World Cup. It says Real Madrid boss. Okay, this has just recently, literally been updated a few minutes ago. Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti forced into embarrassing U-turn over FIFA Club World Cup comment. Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti have been forced to clarify comments. They've been crowned champions of the world a record 8 times. Blah blah blah. There could be as many as 7 extra games, meaning there could be a situation where Real Madrid, if they won, everything next year, would play 72 games next season. And obviously, there's the Euros and stuff this summer. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's pushing the players too much.
He appeared to indicate that Real would reject the opportunity to be involved. However, he would later take to X, which must have happened here, formally known as Twitter, to issue a statement, blah, blah, blah. So he's obviously had to U-turn on it, which is interesting. But I can see kind of where he's coming from in a funny way with the amount of fixtures that players have to play.
100%. Yeah. What's more difficult to understand is what Man City are doing right now.
What, suing the Premier League?
Basically, suing the Premier League and suing the clubs in the Premier League. It's basically what they're doing.
What? Yeah.
I mean, that's all we need to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, I mean, it might have served you well to have not played in the Club World Cup so far this season, Bob, because the slump continues. Only 2 wins in the last 6 games, 5 away games without a win since the opening day of the season.
Gosh, that's really quite a run, isn't it?
The players probably travelled out at this point, maybe travelling away. It's just a bit too much for them.
So that was punctuated by that 8-0.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
But otherwise...
I know, the 8-0 was you really truly returning to form. And then you follow up a home game against Man United, 2-2 draw, which, isn't the worst result in the world.
So where are we then?
David Villa header and Ozil played well, but miss a hatful of first half chances,
Wow.
apparently. So you do remain in second.
How come?
Well, there are 4 teams on 17 points. Man City, Man United, Arsenal and you. And Chelsea are 5 points ahead of everybody else on 22.
Okay.
So they're kind of pulling away already. But
Yes.
you're in a group of a lot of other teams. Spurs and West Brom are on 15 points at this point in the season. It's an interesting looking table so far.
Yeah.
Not the best start to the season. This is a
No.
bit like so Man United teams of old used to do this, didn't they? Not start brilliantly.
Well, and Man City this last season.
Yeah, true.
Quite honestly.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
after
and kind of
Christmas they
and
came
the season
alive.
before, I guess.
Yeah.
'Cause
Just that surge of like 11 wins in the last 12 games.
Yeah.
You know,
It's inevitable, really,
sort of
isn't it?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, hoping to build upon some better results now. 3-1 away win against Everton, Torres and Riquelme with 2.
Riquelme.
Then a 3-0 away win against Sunderland, Riquelme with 2 more, and Torres again.
He's just the
and
best.
then a 2-0 home win against Liverpool, which is a big result.
Honestly, I keep
Dylan
saying
and
it.
Torres.
But I honestly think that Riquelme at that moment was my best signing. He was like the Cantona of my signings. He really was. He was just so good, and he felt he had a point to prove.
Yeah.
Because Argentina had rejected him. He felt very rejected.
Yeah.
And he was determined to show what he could do.
Was he an arm round the shoulder type
Yeah,
of
he
player?
bloody was. Just boost him up, make him feel great, send him out there, and he was terrific.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you're going to need to give him an arm around the shoulder now, Bob, because it says routine win marred by 2 huge injuries. Riquelme and Weber expected to be out for a month. Oh no!
Oh,
just as he hit form.
real form.
A curveball has been thrown into the mix. But Chelsea have obviously had a run of bad results because it means now that you are still in second, but you have a game in hand over Chelsea and you're 2 points behind them.
But my main man is injured.
But Riquelme is injured for a month. How is that going to affect the results?
Well, I don't know. How is it?
Well, we'll find out right now. Away against West Brom, it's a 4-0 win, so clearly not so bad. You had Mesut Ozil.
So who was playing number 10 then?
Yeah, Ozil was in number 10.
right.
This is a young Ozil at this point, so he's stepping into his shoes. Bennett, Villa, Ozil and Toklev with the goals. You then beat City 5-1. And Ozil...
This was before City got really good.
Ozil hat-trick in that game, so he's filling the boots of Riquelme
Yes,
very well. Toklev in an own goal in that, and then a 0-0 draw away at Birmingham means going into the Christmas period. Bob, you are now top of the table by 2 points.
Wow.
Chelsea have really fallen off. You're on 33 points. United 2 behind on 31, and Chelsea 2 behind them on 29, along with Arsenal.
So I've survived. I've got through that difficult patch.
Yeah.
Or was it 2 wins in 9?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But
and here I am now.
yeah, scoring goals again.
The resilience.
The Birmingham City 0-0 draw, it says. It says difficult game in icy conditions.
Icy.
At the end of end of November in 2010. It must have been a cold snap in the UK.
I
at that
bet it
point.
was.
It says,
How on earth did I replicate that in here?
yeah, I don't know. Just you're out there with a hose and like turning the heating off for a few days. And then it also says here ends run of 5 straight Premiership wins. So you were on a good run of form from them.
Right.
And then before we wrap up, because I'm conscious that we're running on a bit, we'll go to the end of the calendar year in this, Bob, and we'll come back to it next episode.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, good plan. And because we haven't looked at Europe yet.
no, I know, and we'll have to do that shortly. So three more fixtures to play in the league before the end of the year.
Okay.
Wigan away, 3-0 win. Torres, Gigax and Ozil, who was clearly come in and looked fantastic
Yes.
in Riquelme's absence, so he's really stepped up. Then home against Blackpool, 5-0. Villa, Torres with 2, Freddie Haynes and Riquelme coming back from injury with a 92nd minute a goal to make
did
it 5-0.
he come off the bench,
He
or-
came off the bench for Ozil, and it says here Pato, Weber and Riquelme all returned from injury in this game. Torres' second goal is the team's 50th in all competitions so far this season.
Wow.
So lots of goals being scored. The final game of the year, a bit of a drab 0-0 away to Blackburn.
Okay.
But
Blackburn were very defensive in those days.
it means
they were weren't they Sam Allardyce about
probably.
that time?
Yeah,
weren't they?
Two guy and Pedersen and all this sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and the one
Christopher Samba, remember him? Big centre back.
And the one style that I had difficulty playing against, long ball. We weren't built for it. We didn't like playing it, and teams like
Blackburn, like Bolton.
Sometimes West Ham at certain times would just long ball us.
Yeah.
Burnley.
Hence why you beat
back in
Blackpool
the day.
5-0, because that was the year, I think, possibly where It's Ian Holloway, wasn't it?
Yes,
and
it was.
he did try to play some nice football with them, but ultimately they weren't good enough. A little bit like Vincent Kompany with Burnley, I think, in the Premier League this year. Anyway, turn of the year, Bob. Coming into the New Year's celebrations, you are 2 points clear at the top of the table over Manchester United.
Right.
40 points. They've got 38. So things are looking up
Good.
for 2011.
So have we got one more pointless question then?
Well, we do. Yeah, we do. Well, if we go back into it, we'll carry on at sort of a 23-24 roundup.
Okay.
This is going to be a difficult one.
Okay.
Right. Name any of the players with the top 5 most chances created in the 23-24 Premier League season.
Well, Bruno is right up there.
Bruno's going to be number 1.
Yeah.
I imagine Martin Odegaard's going to be in there.
He's a wonderful player.
Yeah, he's great.
He really is.
Yeah.
You know, to me, actually, of all the players that we've seen in midfield this season,
He's Arsenal's player of the year, wasn't he?
I've loved watching him.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so subtle in those little, really penetrating, angled, like 7 or 8 yard passes right into the heart of the penalty area. He's so great.
What I like about him is he was one of these like future wonder kids that Real Madrid signed really early, and that happens quite a lot, and they don't ever live up to.
Sounds a bit like your average record label.
Yeah, maybe. But I love that he has.
What was it Dave Stewart said on the whistle? Sign 'em, fuck 'em, drop 'em.
Well, to be fair, Real Madrid did that a little bit with Odegaard, because I don't really remember. He joined Arsenal initially on loan, didn't he? And then he just showed his true colours at Arsenal, and he's blossomed. Because I think when he was at Real Madrid, he also went on loan to like Real Sociedad or something there. Anyway, it's nice to see him doing well.
It was.
But so I would say he's in the top 5 chances created, would you?
Yes, I would say so.
Did De Bruyne play enough of the season to get in there? Because he was injured a lot.
I was thinking, Phil Foden did, though.
Foden. Yeah, did he create chances, or did he score them a lot, though? Bernardo Silva could be another one for
I think
City.
Phil Foden made a lot of chances as well as scoring them. He had such a great season,
was
didn't
good,
he?
wasn't he? Yeah.
Liverpool
players. Who would be...
Mo Salah? Did Mo Salah make goals?
I think Mo Salah scores them. I don't think he creates a lot of chances, really, does he? Would you say...
Trent?
That's actually not a bad shout. Trent.
For us...
Bruno's the one.
Bruno's the one, isn't he? I'm just trying to think Garnacho.
I think Bruno would be the only one that's up there. But Trent's a good shout.
Trent is not a bad shout.
Would a lot of people think of Odegaard? I don't know. There's got to be a player for a slightly lower team that's created a lot of chances this year that we're not thinking of. I'm trying to think who else might have done
real big scorers.
Somebody for Newcastle. Somebody
Crystal
for
Palace. Okay.
Eze or Elise.
Yeah, that sort of name.
Again, they were injured for a bit this season, weren't they?
You're right. Actually,
I think maybe they missed too many games.
You know, it's interesting. Gareth Southgate choosing 4 players from Palace more than any other team.
Admittedly, they had a great end to the season, but yeah.
Years ago, when Crystal Palace was really the team at the beginning of the 1990s, they were labelled the team of the future because the style of play and everything at the time. I mean, you look now at some of the Instagram accounts that show you football in the 70s. And the state of the pitches.
I know.
What happens? You could as good as hack somebody down and break their legs and still not get. Well, it wasn't even a red card. Really. You went into the book. So when nowadays you hear of booking, it's in the old days the referee literally used to turn the player around, write their number and their name in the book.
Yeah.
So that's why it was called a booking.
Yeah,
and you see fights breaking out. That thing with Franny Lee and Norman Hunter, where they're literally throwing haymaker punches at each other.
Back in the day,
and nobody gets sent off. It's incredible.
And goalkeepers, I've seen
had no protection
because a goalkeeper would like catch the ball and then they just get fucking bashed into, and players would be slamming into them.
In fact, if you could bash him over the line with the ball in his hand.
But also he'd have the ball in his hands for like a good few seconds.
Yes,
somebody would come out
just
of nowhere and
crash into him. Yeah. Oh, some of the injuries that goalkeepers had in those days was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, Bert Troutman,
played
the
with
Man
broken
City,
neck, didn't he?
Played in the FA Cup final with a broken neck.
I know. Not these days, Bob?
No. So anyway,
right. So we're saying Bruno, Odegaard, Foden.
Yeah, it's like a Monty Python thing, isn't it? I grew up licking the gravel from the drive out, the road outside.
Yeah.
So
I think Bruno's going to be too obvious because he's always at the top of them. Odegaard or Foden could be interesting. Are there any other ballers? I mean, somebody like Eze would be quite good but I think again he was injured for a lot this season.
And Bournemouth are the other sort of attacking team, aren't they? But Newcastle, just going through some of and Spurs. Who would be creating chances for the Spurs forwards?
Because again, Son scores them mostly, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like Maddison, again, he was injured a lot though.
Yes, he was.
Maybe we should just lock in somebody that we know is going to be in there. Should we like an Odegaard?
Go for Odegaard.
Yeah.
I think of all the people that people know, he's probably the least likely, and yet we think he's fabulous. So,
okay. Well, let's go with that then. Should we lock in Odegaard? All right, here we go.
Go for it.
So, any of the players with the top 5 most chances created in the 23-24 Premier League season. Top is Bruno Fernandes, 35. Second is Bukayo Saka.
Yes, of course.
30 people voted for him.
Yeah.
Then it's Odegaard with 21. So that's the entire 100 used up. So there are 2 pointless answers for this. These are good. Pascal Gross for Brighton.
Okay.
And Andreas Pereira for Fulham.
Wow.
Who has had a brilliant season. And, I'm really glad to see him doing so well. He scored a great goal for Brazil the other day as well. And obviously he came through the United sort of academy system. And it was at the time of Moyes and he was always used in the central midfield and it just never really worked. But you could see there was a player there.
Yes.
And I'm really glad that he's gone on to prove himself.
Oh, that is good.
So there we go. But I think we did quite well there. So Odegaard got us 21 points, which is fine.
So in total we're 121 plus.
Plus whatever Scott McTominay was, which was 10. So 131 out of 300, which isn't terrible.
Too bad, is it?
Let us know what you got for Football Pointless.
Yeah.
I realise also we took a bit of a break from the Premier League goal scorers quiz this week, so we'll bring that back next week as well.
Oh, yeah.
So before we go quickly, so we said we'd just take a quick look at the Champions League group
you got those
stuff.
still there?
Oh, I do. So I know that last week we sort of threw to the fact that the first group stage game was against Roma.
Yes.
Which ends a 2-0 victory.
Yes.
Haynes and Riquelme.
Riquelme in such great form.
I think we did maybe briefly speak about that last time. 0-0 draw with Basel. 4-1 win over CFR Cluj, which Dylan, Villa and 2 from Ozil were the goal scorers there.
Yeah.
Then a 1-1 draw with Cluj, a 0-0 draw with Roma and a 0-0 draw with Basel means you were top of the group when we left last time, weren't you, with 10 points.
Yes.
Going into a playoff sort of knockout game in the last 16 against Inter.
Yes.
Which ended 0-0 in the first leg away from home.
Right.
4th consecutive European draw, only 1 goal scored in the last 4 games. And actually that's true. That's 3 0-0 draws in a row in Europe, isn't it?
There's one thing about this. If for some reason I was away and simply couldn't play a match, and maybe I'd go 2 or 3 games getting behind.
There'd just be 0-0.
I'd just give them 0-0 draws.
Right. Okay. So where were you then at this point in time?
I don't know. In America, possibly?
It says, oh yeah, you maybe were, because it does say about having an American trip, doesn't it? I bet you're out there for the CMAs. November.
Yeah.
It must be.
Probably. Something like that.
Yeah.
So, yes. So the default would be a 0-0 draw. Okay. Because even if I thought it's 1-1, it isn't 1-1 because I hadn't scored,
you don't know who scored the goal.
No.
So, well, that makes sense. Well, in which case you're back at that point. Well, this is February, this game, so maybe you went away again. Anyway, or maybe you were back and it literally was a 0-0 draw. Could have.
I've got a feeling there's something happening.
Yeah,
might have been C2C that weekend or something.
Yeah. Could be. Anyway, you're back for the second leg with the home fixture. 0-0 from the first leg. The home fixture ends 4-0 to North London.
Yes.
Bennett Haynes, Toklov and an own goal, which sets you up with a quarter-final against Schalke.
Okay.
Which should be interesting. That sort of stage, Neuer was playing for them, I reckon.
Yes.
Maybe Ozil was there. I think he was there at some point. Maybe Raul.
No, he was playing for me.
Well, of course, yes. Yeah, obviously. So we'll see how he does next time. So that's where we leave things. So we've got the quarterfinals of the Champions League against Schalke, top of the Premier League as it goes into the turn of the year. So things looking good for next episode then, Bob.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening and for watching. Like I mentioned, if you don't follow us on socials, please do at A Game of No Halves. Also, if you rate us 5 stars and subscribe on wherever you're listening to this podcast from, we would love you forever. Any parting words for everybody, Bob, before we leave?
Well, I hope very much that eventually I'll meet my cats.
Yeah,
it would be great to think that I might actually get to see them between now and when we're back with you.
Yeah, updates next time.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you for A Game with No Halves again very, very soon. It's Miles and Bob saying goodbye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
See ya.